Hi, this is Brad Argent from Ancestry. Today I want to talk to you about some considerations around DNA, some things to think about before you spit in that tube and send it off. The first thing, and it's quite important, is to think about what kind of surprises you might find in your DNA. Now there's very, very small chances of it, but it could happen. You might, for example, discover that you have a half-sibling you didn't know about. You might have cousins that you're not aware of. You might even find out that, perhaps what your DNA tells you runs contrary to what you believe about your family history, potentially even about your parents. Look, it's really exciting to have access to this kind of technology and this kind of science, but there's implications around doing it, particularly for some people. So before you dive into it and before you, spit in that tube and send it off, just think about what might come up and how you might react to that. And also think about how other people might react to that. So you've got to remember when you take that test, that DNA test, you're not only testing yourself, but to some extent you're testing your parents because you've got half of their DNA inside you, and you're testing your siblings. And so the results that you get could well be relevant, not just for your parents, but for brothers or sisters if you have them. And of course also if you have children, could also be relevant to them as well. So remember that whilst it is absolutely your DNA, and it's your DNA and you own it and you can control it, the results that are uncovered by it could have implications for other people. Those of you who've done family history will know the excitement that you get when you finally break through that brick wall, or you find a bit of a family secret, right? And you uncover that. And I'm sure we've all had that experience where we get really excited and we share it, and somebody else just doesn't want to know about it. You've got to remember that there'll be very similar and possibly quite more emotionally powerful responses from people around DNA, because of the fact that it's science and it's far more robust from an evidentiary perspective than a single piece of paper. So think about that before you rush out and share that information on Facebook, or even before you, throw it across the dinner table. Other people might react differently to that information. So perhaps a considered approach to sharing that information is worthwhile. When you take a DNA test, and you put your DNA test out there in say, a database as huge as Ancestry is, you're going to get cousin matches, and people are going to, see that, oh, you've got your DNA in there. They're going to see if you, make that open and you attach that to the tree, they're going to see not only information about you, but also about your ancestors, and they're potentially going to, again, because they're looking at your DNA, they're also looking at the DNA of your siblings and your parents. So think about these things before you take that test. Have a plan for what you're going to do with the information and how you're going to share it. And before you do anything with your results, give them time to settle in. Give yourself time to process them. Give yourself time to understand them. And then when you feel in a good place, and you think everybody else is ready, by all means, share that information. Thanks for your time.